Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Danny Danae Show. I am Danielle Danae, aka Danny Danae, and I've got a lot to say. So let's get into it. Stop calling conspiracy theorists crazy. Hoeness was sold to us earlier than I thought. Sleeping around seems to be the only way to make it in Hollywood. Let's talk about it. So first thing I said was stop calling conspiracy theorists crazy. Yes, I'm so over, seeing people like Hoeness, seeing people that speak the truth, and then people calling them conspiracy theorists because it seems so far-fetched. It's not, it's not something their minds are able to grasp. Like I mentioned in my video yesterday, I said, people that can't relate to something or don't think something to be true, they just immediately dismiss it and call it false, when it's just like, no, you just can't relate. You can't grasp the concept that our government is corrupt. So you call it crazy, but indeed it's not. Look at the world we live in. Look at the world we live in. If you want to be a lost sheep, cool. But you can't shut down those who decide to open their eyes and decide to see things for what they really are. Crazy. It's too much happening in this world. If COVID-19 wasn't enough proof to you that the government lies, I don't know what could be. I don't know what more they could do to prove to you that they don't care about you, and they will tell you anything in order to gain your compliance, your control. I can't say it enough. It's just like, it's like I want to believe that our government is great, and it's all kumbaya and rose petals on the ground, fairies flying around, unicorns, but we have to live a reality here. We have to look at what's right in front of us. We have to look at our history. And history shows that there was an assassination that happened to one of our presidents, and no one can tell us who did it. That should be insane. The government can tell you who murdered somebody way of less important within 24 hours, and we can't know who killed a sitting president at the time at all. Years later, that should have you like, something's going on. Something crazy is happening. And what really kills me is when people try to say something untrue or crazy and they have no way to debunk the statement they're calling crazy. Like, if you have no hardcore facts debunking somebody's statement, then you can't call them a liar. You can't call them crazy. I mean, you can, but you sound crazy. Because it's like, where is your proof? You're asking where their proof is at. Prove to me I'm wrong. Then we can have an honest conversation, or then I can retract my statement. But no one seems to be able to provide that proof. Nobody. And these conspiracy theorists that, mention, the CIA murdering people for one, mention, that the vaccine was a test. It's literally the vaccine. COVID-19, you don't. The proof was the people that the elitists, the government, they told on themselves when that happened. They admitted to lying about, the vaccine not completely being 100% effective, and telling us that it was, in order to get us to take it, in order to get us to remain a certain distance away from one another, in order to get us from going, in order to get us from, using our own brains and just relying on them for information. Like I said, it was a whole plot to gain control. And if I had to judge from an outsider looking in, I would say, you know, they won this little experiment. They succeeded. There's so many people still today are wearing masks, and it's just like the government literally told you that they lied to you. That no matter how many vaccines you get with this COVID vaccine, you can still catch it. It's crazy to me how brainwashed we can become, and to a point where we don't believe our own eyes. And that's the plot of the government. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's fact. Just open your eyes. Open your eyes. All you have to do. I think so many people that are called conspiracy theorists are tired of that word. I know Candace Owens is tired of that word. I'm tired of hearing that word in spaces I'm in. It's just another name calling. It's like another tactic to get us to be, I don't know, somehow afraid to say what it is we really believe to be true. That's things that are actually true. To somehow they think we're gonna hide in a corner by being called that word. It's like, no, the word is ugly, the term is annoying, but it's not gonna prevent us from telling the truth. It's not gonna prevent us from speaking. It's simply not. And you gotta know, people like me, people like Candace Owens, people like Tucker Carlson, we're not scared of telling the truth because we know deep down inside we're meant to tell it. And we know telling the truth is never wrong, no matter how many people condemn you, no matter how threatened you are. Your blessings, God will end up blessing you in a way that's 10 times better than anybody could reward me for being silent or threaten me into being silent. Yeah, man, if you're one of those people that goes around calling people that, you know, see the world for what it is, conspiracy theorists, I suggest you stop. Stop it. Because deep down inside, you know they are telling the truth. Now, I'm going to make a disclaimer and say, like, a lot of conspiracy theories, there's some out there that are very far-fetched. And I'm like, I don't know. But the ones I just mentioned and a few other ones I can't think of right now, things that are literally happening with our government, things that are happening with our world leaders. This election is going to be very telling coming up. I'm very curious to see what happens in this election. But it will tell us a lot, and we got to pay attention because, like I said, I've said in my other videos, this is the most important election I think we've had, because it will truly show how corrupt our government is. Whoever wins, it will show. It will prove a point, no matter who wins. Okay, so yeah, just wake up. I'm not saying believe all conspiracy theories, but don't. The ones that seem plausible, the ones you can kind of understand by just opening your eyes and looking at what's happening in front of you. Stop calling them crazy. You're just calling them crazy. Stop calling the ones crazy that you really believe deep down inside, but you're just scared that other people are going to call you crazy for agreeing with that person. Those are the conspiracy theories I'm talking about. Don't be that type of person. Don't live in fear. Don't live in fear. Or if you still want to be one of those people who calls conspiracy theorists, do your research. Do your effort in order to debunk it. If you can't, I would step back. If you don't have any hardcore proof debunking their points, step back. It's okay that you can't relate. Again, just remove yourself and stop name calling. Stop name calling. It's not nice, guys. Not nice at all. Okay? All right, moving on. Hoeness was sold to us earlier than I thought. You know, hodum for me, I've made up that word. I've heard it maybe before, maybe. But I tried looking it up and I was like, is this an actual word? Is this like in the Urban Dictionary? I couldn't find it. So I was like, I'm going to use that anyway and say I made it up. Hodum, Ho Kingdom. That's what it is. But yeah, it was so funny. I was just watching the movie Oklahoma the other day. And if you guys don't know of the movie Oklahoma, it's the Oklahoma classic. That movie came out in 1955. And not the two main characters. I don't want to focus on the Curly and Laurie. I think are their names, the two leads. It's the character named Annie that was flirting with this peddler man when her true lover, or somebody she already been keen with, they didn't do boyfriend and girlfriend, I don't think, back in the day. It was like you're courting and then you're married. But a guy she was clearly courting before she met this peddler went away. His name was Will, and she was entertaining this peddler man, kissing on him, going on dates with him. And even Lori was like, you know, Will comes back today. The man that went away, he was coming back. And she was like, oh, well, you know, I like this guy. I like whoever I'm with. You know, it is what it is. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, they were selling this whole mentality to us way before I thought. Like, I thought it was more of a transition maybe in the 80s, maybe in the late 70s, but not the 50s at all. I thought that was when, you know, women were the most modest, the most about their husbands. I wouldn't even think that they would put this in a movie that early in time, but they sure did. 1955, guys. This woman was kissing one man and kissing another man, and had the nerve to be jealous when the man kissed another woman, pardon me, when a man kissed another woman, you know, just as a form of goodbye, because she had, prior to him doing that, she had kissed the peddler man goodbye when she decided she wanted to be with Will. And it's just, I'm just like shook. I was shook it to my knees. I was like, they were selling this early on in the 50s. So now in 2024, it's like nothing. Like sleeping around is like a granted. Like you see it happen so often in these. I was also watching an episode of Scandal, the first episode. I have never watched Scandal before this. I watched it yesterday as well, I think. And I was just like, this is crazy. This would be so condemned. In the 1940s. And I thought in the 1950s, but then I watched Oklahoma and I was like, oh my goodness. But now it's not just, you know, kissing and going on dates. It's actually having sex. It's actually having sex with a married man, not just another man, because the peddler man was not married. Important detail, he was not married. But Olivia Pope was having sex with the president of the United States, who was very much married. Crazy. I have a different type of disgust for women who sleep with married men. I'm just like, I can't. There's no grace there, because you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. The fact that Olivia Pope was also, there was a scene where the first lady came out to her and she was asking how she was doing and stuff like that. And this is only in the first episode. I was good. I didn't even watch the next episode. I was like, the first episode told me all I needed to know about the show. And I was like, when you, a disgusting type of woman that smiles in that woman's face and acts like she's your friend and is sleeping with your husband. Now, boyfriend, it's bad too, but it's a different type of bad when they're married, because they literally made vows to each other and you're coming in between those vows willingly. It's a different type of disgusting. I have no grace for you. If you're doing it, watching this video, stop and just know I am judging you. I am 100% judging you. But back to my point. I think it was just disgusting. I was just in shock. Because I remember it's so crazy because I've seen Oklahoma a million times. We used to watch it as kids, right? But like I love watching movies as an adult because you have a different understanding. You know, as a kid, you know, I'm just looking at it like, oh, like I'm not really thinking it all into it. I'm just enjoying the music, enjoying the pretty outfits and stuff like that. And now I'm looking at it and I'm just like, oh my goodness. As a kid watching this, I'm like being programmed as a kid subconsciously that this type of behavior is okay. I'm being subconsciously influenced. And that's scary. That's scary. And to think it's a conspiracy theory that the government wants us to be so promiscuous and make these unnatural behaviors. So they put these things in movies, they put these things in songs, they put these things in our every day-to-day lives. So we become more unlike our natural selves in order to rely on them when we are ultimately to the peak of confusion, so lost that we need to rely on them for help, so hurt that we are desperate for help. And there the government is, right, to come right there and help you with the problem they gave you. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not far-fetched. It's real. I was even looking at, you know, to get off the Hodem train and just into masculine energy and what that looks like Disney Channel. It's so funny. Growing up, I watched Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, right? One of my favorite shows. They're still funny to this day. But you know, Cody was a super sensitive, super feminine acting, now looking at a super feminine acting man. And then Zach character, this is Dylan and Cole Sprouts. They play Zach and Cody on this Disney Channel show. And Zach was this super, like, I don't give a F, you know, women ain't nothing. I just, you know, I'm gonna flirt with them and use them, abuse them. They put two extremes types of man, the super bad guy and the super feminine guy, and not someone who's a little in the middle, somebody that's healthy in order to, it's all programming to show how, to tell women, like, you know, this is super bad and this is super bad too, but I don't know, if you had to choose between the two, Cody looks like what you really want. And it's just like, it's soft, it's putting a softness on what men are supposed to be. Like, I'm trying to think of exactly in one particular example on the episode where I was just like, this man is, the excessive crying Cody did, the excessive pandering he did to Bailey, his girlfriend, later on when they did Sweet Life on Deck. Like, it was just little things. It was just like, this is not how men act. And same with Zach. But if you're gonna choose one, if a woman's looking at that and they're like, all right, these are the only two men we have to date, they want you to choose the super soft guy over the super player guy. Or they want you to choose the super player guy and have your heart broken, and then again, proving my point, have you so desperate to be healed, so desperate to love again, that you love something that never loved you back, which is the government. Love something that can never love you back. So yeah, it's all part of a plan. And sorry, I had to put that in there, but going back to the Hodem point, it's just like, we live in Ho Kingdom, and this kingdom has been around for years. Longer than we could have, or I could have imagined. Maybe you guys knew this. I didn't realize it till just the other day. Or maybe I subconsciously knew it, but it clicked in my head the other day when I was watching this film. So yeah, we gotta get out of the Hodem mentality. We gotta stop watching things that are making us more susceptible to just, you know, be a hoe. I don't know how else to put it. To be more promiscuous, to, allow men in that don't deserve it. We gotta start putting our boundaries up. We gotta start standing on our moral beliefs. And yeah. And it starts here. You gotta know better to do better. Okay? Now you know if you didn't know already. If you're a hoe out there, stop! Stop being a hoe. I know it's gonna be a little hard. It doesn't just happen overnight, but close your legs, guys. Stay to yourself, loving yourself. When you truly love yourself, you'll respect yourself. And when you truly respect yourself, you're not gonna allow anybody who doesn't respect you in you. Okay? So, there you go. All right. Last point. Sleeping around is the only way to make it in Hollywood. It seems like the only way to make it in Hollywood. Oh my goodness. Yes. If you look at all these, they're all on Netflix, these documentaries of famous actresses and, famous entertainers. And all of them are sleeping with somebody in the process, whether it's a movie director or a movie producer or an agent or even a fellow artist. It's like somehow you gotta sleep your way in order to make it. It always happens before they make it big that they're sleeping with these people. And it's sad because it's not just women. It's men too. They're being bent over, believe it or not. Cat Williams said it. I'm not the first to say it. Trust me. It's been a thing. The fact that people are so shocked when somebody like Diddy goes to jail is just crazy, because it's been happening since Jeffrey Epstein. Like, come on now. And even before that, Hollywood is very dark, and you gotta be willing to put out. You gotta be willing to sell your soul in a sense in order to make it. I tell myself all the time, y'all, if I did certain things, if I slept with certain people, I would be an international superstar. I'm young, I'm beautiful, I'm a model, I dance, I sing, I act. I act not very well, but good enough in order to make it. Good enough if I was to sleep with somebody, they would hire me. Y'all wouldn't know me. I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I'd be walking some red carpet. I honestly believe that. But I told myself when I moved to Los Angeles, I said, I'm not going to sleep with any celebrity. I'm not going to sleep with somebody for a job, because it goes against what I believe in. Simple as that. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the facts. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule. I might be wrong, but I don't think people like Denzel Washington and Anthony Hopkins had to do certain things in order to get into Hollywood. I just don't think that. That's just my gut. I don't have any hardcore facts onto that, but my intuition is very strong. It's very accurate. Sometimes when you're just so good, sometimes you can get away with not having to do certain things, but other times, a lot of times, you do. And, the thing about Hollywood, someone's always going to test you, right? Just like the government made this test with COVID, someone's always going to test you, but you will have to ask yourself, are you the one that's going to pass the test? Or are you the one that's going to fail? And what I mean by that is, sometimes passing the test is saying no. But not in just saying no, like you got to be smart. You got to know how to say no, and you have to have something that they want other than sex in order to pass the test. You gotta be smart about your situation. You gotta do your research. You gotta learn the people you're dealing with. You really want to be in the industry, you got to know what you're doing. And also the people that make it, you know, and don't have to go through these things, the exception to the rules, they have a backbone. They have a father who doesn't play in any games. It has to back, like Beyonce. I feel like truly she was protected by her dad and then Jay-Z when she met him. When you have people that are truly in your corner and protect you from those crazy, uncomfortable situations, unfortunate situations, then you luck out. You need to have somebody in your corner that's going to be like, hey, you can't do this. I think also Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid had a mother that did not play. You know, they were like, you know, my models, my daughters are going to be great. They're going to be fantastic. They're going to do what they got to do. They're going to make the type of sacrifice they need to make when it comes to their eating and stuff, but they're not going to make the sacrifice where they're going to sleep with you in order to get a job. That's not happening. She has been, her mother, Yolanda, I believe her name is, she'd been in the industry. She was a former model. You know, she knew how it was. And she was like, look, I'm going to be a shark for my kids. And she was just that. And now they're the two biggest models in the world. Those are also where the exceptions come in. But when you're a Holly Berry, when you're a Marilyn Monroe, when you're, I don't know, who else? Anna Nicole Smith slept with an older man, but I don't know if he wasn't in the industry, if I believe. I'm trying to think of someone else. I don't know. A bunch of women, right, sleep their way into this industry because they don't have anybody guarding them. They don't have any protection. And they feel like it's an obligation. And even if they don't have sex in person or, you know, in real life, they do on camera. Think about it. The movie Halle Berry won an Oscar for is where she got fucked on camera. What's that movie called? What's that movie called again? It came up blank. It just left. Was it Monsters Ball? I think it was Monsters Ball. Because I remember thinking, like, why is the movie called that? I think it was Monsters Ball, but I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's if they don't F you in person, they gotta F you on camera. It's just Hollywood, man. I don't make the rules. I'm just saying what it is. I'm just saying the truth. Because whether you believe it or not, sex, everything is about sex, right? We have this saying, and it's so funny. Someone had commented on my video and mentioned that I always bring up my ex in videos. In my videos I put up, and I'm like, yeah, because we just have great conversations, and that I should probably be back with him because there's not a lot of good men out there. I absolutely agree with that. I was like, he might be right, but anyway. This was a conversation I had with my ex, and he put this thought into my head. He was like, everything is about sex in this world except for sex. Sex is about power. And that is so true. Because these sex scenes, these sleeping your way up to the top, it's a way that these elite men in these industries gain power over you. Because whether you believe it or not, ladies, when you sleep with a man, you become more vulnerable to his antics. No matter if you like him or not. No matter if you think it meant anything or not. No matter if you used a condom or not. They gain power over you, and that's what they want. The elitists in Hollywood want power. The government wants power. And these are the tactics they use in order to get it. You gotta wake yourself up to realize that that's what it is. And either understand what it is and do what you gotta do. Play the game or beat the game. Or avoid the game at all costs. You have 3 options. Play the game, beat the game, or avoid the game. But don't hate the player. Hate the game, but you know, like I said, if you really want it, just know this is what it is. you know, and it's so unfortunate. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I wanted to be a big star. But I'm not willing to pay the cost of what it costs to be that. And I have yet to have the backbone behind me in order to, you know, really thrive. And I've yet to also take full accountability. I've yet to become the type of person that could be my own backbone and, you know, really thrive as well. I'm still working on that. But mind you, I will be big one day. But I'll be big because of me, not because I slept with somebody, not because somebody, you know, just used me for something and then I used them. It's gonna be because of me. Okay? Because you can't break somebody that didn't make you. I think Kanye said that. I might be paraphrasing there, but yeah. So I'm going to choose to be made by myself. No one else is gonna make me. No one else is gonna have that power. I will, and only me. All right? All right, guys. This was a deep one. This got to me. I'm like, ooh, it's kind of personal, you know, being in Hollywood and all. 6 years, guys. But yeah, it's a good topic. All right. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic Tuesday. Please like the video if you liked the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And you always know to comment, guys. Always comment. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. All right. I love you. Mwah. Bye.